What's good, everyone? Welcome to the What It Is podcast, episode 1. I'm Rex Emilian, and I'm here with my day one, my brother from another, my brother from another mother, Casper. What's good, Cas?
What's good, bro?
And of course, my sister from another Mr. T. Rich is in the house. What's good, T. Rich?
You here?
Hold up, did she just freeze?
What's up, y'all? What's up?
Oh, all right, yeah, cool.
All right, we finally did it, guys. We're on episode 1. We finally got this podcast thing popping off.
Yes.
So basically, what we want to start out with is kind of explain what this podcast is going to be about. It's called the What It Is podcast. And basically, it's just an honest and transparent social commentary. By the way, I wrote notes. Social commentary through our personal lens, perspective, and life experience. So it's, any topic that comes to our head that we think about, you know what I mean, or want to discuss, we're going to come here every week and we're going to talk about it. And I mean, that's basically it. Like, it's just, we're transparent and, we just talk about what's on our mind. So basically what I want to do is just go around and kind of get some ideas on what everybody like just basically like what are you guys' goals as far as the progression of the podcast, and what do you like kind of want to get out of the podcast? So I guess I'll start with you, Casper. Like, where do you see this podcast going?
Well, I want to see it grow. I like to see us grow as people, just from having the conversations, and then maybe even that do the same for people who are watching or listening. That's what I like to see. I mean, otherwise it's all for nothing. So I think that's what I think that's what we all probably share. When you feel some kind of way about something, or you might be going through something, you never know who else is going through that, or might feel some kind of relief or like-mindedness when they find out somebody else is going through something similar or the same. So that's what I hope to get out of it.
Yeah, I agree with that, definitely. How about you, T? What do you like? Is there anything in particular that you like? Any goals or any,
I'm looking to. I mean,
okay.
Anytime I do things like this, it's to evolve. It's to evolve. Also, get dialogue, exchange dialogue, get different perspectives of people, and kind of like what Cass said. It's like you get different perspectives, and it can enlighten other ideas and other people. We got 3 people here, so I know all of our ideas different. Perspectives and exchanging it. So, and I just like good dialogue. I love to have different dialogue with different people.
Yeah.
And then for the podcast itself, preferably, my idea would be to like evolve to a bigger platform.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
I agree with that for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that because I feel like a lot of times, like, I find myself having really deep, like, good conversation with people, and then I'm always thinking like, I could be doing this on a podcast, And
So, I mean, I feel that way anytime I'm having discussions with my friends and you, and it's like we have good conversation. It's like all we need to do is record that, right. and let that grow from there, and that's pretty much what this is. So
yeah,
it's good that we actually got to start this.
Definitely. And then I feel like with technology, we have so many resources now. It's just like, just tap into them, just utilize them,
Yep.
So there's so many platforms and through social media and all different types of ways to get your message out and get your thoughts out. So
agreed.
Yeah. So I mean, all that sounds good. I'm finally that we. I'm glad. I'm glad that we finally put this together. We got all of us together. And I think it was just a case of just stepping out and just doing it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta just say, hey, we've been talking about it. Let's just go out and see and just do it and see where it goes, because you never know, where it's gonna take you.
Just step through the doorway.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Okay, all right, that sounds good. So today, this is our first episode, and we figured we kind of start with something lighthearted. Just we're kind of testing the waters, feeling things out, and seeing where this thing's gonna go. But so we know that after 30 years, we finally have a Coming to America sequel. That's a long time. 30 years is a long time to, you know what I mean, finally get a sequel. And it's finally here. We all watched it. Me and Cass, we were gonna talk about it, then we were like, nah, we're gonna wait and save it for the podcast, so we don't want to spoil our thoughts,
Right.
And then Tashina, I don't know where you stand. We haven't talked about it yet, so it's gonna be all gonna be fresh, So basically, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna discuss like our feelings on the movie and what we thought, because so I personally follow like a lot of YouTubers and a lot of movie reviewers and stuff, and I felt like, there's people with different opinions, people are on different sides of it, some people like it, some people don't like it, some people are in the middle. So I thought it would be interesting for us to get together on our first episode and kind of just discuss it, just see where we stand. So I guess I'll start with you, Donald. I'm sorry, Cass. I'm used to this, my brother, but I guess I'll start with you, Cass. How did you feel about the movie? Like, what were your thoughts?
Well, I want to start off by saying that thank goodness that everybody who was involved in the movie was alive and able to do the project, because 30 years, there's a lot of people. We lost a lot of people over the years, and
that's true.
To know that all those people could be in it, and even though we know that 2 people played like a lot of characters, still the fact that we still have Eddie, the fact we still have Arsenio Hall, and I'm a big Arsenio Hall fan. Like, I think he's hilarious. But with that being said, I don't feel like we needed the sequel,
right?
Because when it comes to doing a movie like Coming to America, Friday, like when you're doing a classic comedy like that, it doesn't need a follow-up.
Right.
And I've also heard that it was other treatments that were similar that they kind of jacked their ideas from, and kind of butchered it.
Okay.
And some people's opinion. My opinion
for the sequel, they did that.
For the sequel, for the sequel.
Okay.
So, like, the treatment that Coogler was supposed to produce.
Yeah, I heard about that. I heard he had like a script or something, but Eddie Murphy didn't want to go with it or something like that.
Yeah. But they still used some of the ideas. So, with that being said, I'm going to start with the positive. I did like how which I thought the charm of the movie was that they went with the nostalgia. How they went back and did like some like head nods to, or Easter eggs, or however you want to call it, to the previous or the original, and then on top of that they did some nods to Trading Places.
Okay.
Like there's the scene where, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, so if you haven't seen it, you might want to.
Yeah, no. By the way, I think we should probably put out we're gonna spoil it, because I think a lot of people that have seen it. If you haven't, by the way, if you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Turn it off.
Yeah, turn this off. Sorry, I meant to say spoiler warning. Turn it off and then come back and then finish. I mean, it's kind of hard to really put a round table together about this without spoiling it.
Yeah.
So spoilers, definitely.
Yeah. So when the son went to an interview for Duke and Duke, like that was a nod to Trading Places. Like, I thought that was pretty cool. And then how they kind of like went with the tradition. How it was a whole thing where it was tradition to marry in Zamunda, and and then how they kind of like brought some of the old stuff back, like the previous wife he was supposed to marry, Amana Z, how she was still doing the whole she was still doing the barking on hopping on one knee. Like it was like, wow, I also want to say I thought Wesley Snipes was hilarious.
Oh yeah, I agree with that one. Yeah,
I thought Wesley Snipes was hilarious. But
let me just get Tasha's brief, opinion on it, and then we'll kind of just circle back, and I'll give my brief one.
No, he can finish.
No, I mean we'll circle back around. I just want to get like a brief, and then we can all just kind of unpack everything. So how'd you feel about it, Tasha? What was your opinion on it?
I have to piggyback off of Donald for the aspect of it. I don't think it was necessary.
Right.
It was like, it's cool that they did it.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like it was necessary. There's movies where you're like, I would really like to see a sequel to that.
Right.
Or they need to come up with a part 2. There's some movies that's like that.
Right.
For me, when I first heard that they were doing a sequel to Coming to America, I was shook.
Yeah.
Shook as in, no, don't touch a classic.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah.
A lot of sequels don't measure up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when watching it, my overall opinion was it was funny, it was lighthearted. To me, it really wasn't. I wouldn't put it I wouldn't classify it as a sequel because they didn't really show too much of what you would see 30 years later. Aside from the fact there's this son, they're now living in Zamunda like we knew.
Exactly.
And, we knew that, but outside of that, it was just like it didn't have the touch of what I would look for in a sequel. It was just a fun movie to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was. I feel it was heavily oversaturated with faces. I don't think Salt and Pepper needed to be.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my god. Oh.
Involved.
I know.
They OD.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool that it was done. But it's like it was oversaturated with people.
Right.
But I think Eddie, what I'm feeling like, I haven't heard otherwise, I kind of feel like Eddie it's like an ode to Black culture. So he was getting any and everybody and making a space for them to make this movie.
Which I love.
I don't even classify, I wouldn't even classify it as a sequel. Yeah, that was cool. But I just don't think a sequel, I wouldn't even classify it as a sequel.
I agree with all that. So like I said, like you piggyback off Donald, I'll piggyback off you, and I'll say that I agree with everything that you said. I think I might be a little more negative, as where like I'm that guy right now. I'm gonna be that guy, but no, I just feel like okay, so. I don't know. Like, okay, so the first time I saw it, it was like me and my wife. We were just chilling, and it was just I fell asleep halfway through, and not to say that I fell asleep because it's like a bad movie, but I was just like relaxed. She got off work. We were just chilling. I just drifted off, kind of type of thing. And then I was like, we decided we were going to talk about for the podcast. Like, definitely going to make sure I saw the whole thing and watch the just short little parts that I fell asleep on. And the second time around, I think I liked it a little bit more, but like you guys said, I just think it was saturated with a lot of it was a lot going on, you know what I mean? So, and it was like I watched a reviewer that said it was like a family reunion. That's pretty much the way to describe it. It was just like, it wasn't so much of a film as it was just like, as it was like paying like homage to a classic movie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, it definitely wasn't necessary. But I didn't find myself laughing that much, honestly. Like,
Right, right.
and I felt like I should be laughing more because, like, with when you have the title "Coming to America" in your
Mm-hmm.
movie, and regardless whether it's a sequel or not, I feel like because the original is such a classic and it's so funny, I feel like I should have been laughing more, and it's like it's almost like
Mm-hmm.
you want to like something so much more, and I think it kind of lets you
But
down a
see,
little
I
bit
think
more.
that's because you probably went in with the ass.
Uh, oh, she cut out. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, say that again, Tosh. You cut out a little bit. Jeez.
No, I was saying, I think because people were going into it with expectations. Like
Yeah.
I took the expectations away because I
Yeah.
knew I didn't want to be. Because my expectations when it comes to coming to America are like way up here.
I
So
agree.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
I got to do away with all expectations. I can't go to this
yeah.
movie
You
with
got to
Yeah.
any
give
high
them.
expectations because
You got to give them a
I
clean
already
slate.
watched good sequels anyway.
Yeah,
Yep. So it was just like going into it as if you're just watching another movie. Like, don't go in with the
yeah.
expectations of the first one
Yeah,
or
I,
high
I
expectations
agree
of
with
what
that,
have
but
you.
then I
I threw all of that out the door.
yeah, I agree with that, but then I think it's just like I think subconsciously we just have these expectations because it's coming to America. Like I think yes, we tamper them, but then it's like there's always going to be an expectation there that's like this is the cast coming back. You know what I mean? Like it's not fair to the movie that we have
Mm-hmm.
those expectations, but I think we just all
Mm-hmm.
subconsciously have those. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I don't know.
The
It's
whole thing with the king, the king like having his funeral before he died and then dying on the
yeah.
It's cutting out.
dying on the stage. Like, come on, bro. What
Yeah.
I was saying was cutting out. It was cutting out when I was talking.
Yeah, you're kind of choppy, Tashina. Or Tosh.
No,
No, but
not when you. I am
Yeah, you're a little choppy.
because you are to me like really choppy. Like I don't
see,
even
Yeah.
know what you're saying.
Maybe you want to try to leave
oh
and come right back?
no, 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 no. You're not hearing
No,
me.
it's fine now. But when you start talking,
When you start talking, you're breaking up to her, and then to us, she's breaking up. And I don't know if I'm breaking up. Am
No,
I
you're
breaking
not
up?
You're fine, Donald. You're good. But T
Okay.
is a little. She's good right now. You're good right now. Are we good
Okay.
right now, T?
yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll
Okay.
just keep going. Go ahead, Donald. Or Cass. I'm sorry.
But Jay,
I keep using.
yeah, keep
It's
using the
it's.
gov.
I
But
know it's a habit. I'm sorry.
uh, let's just first of all, let's just salute James Earl Jones for just being around still
Yeah.
and just acting for all these years and still being
Yeah.
able to contribute
Mufasa.
to
As soon as he was talking, as
cinema.
soon as he came in, it
Yeah,
was like all I heard was
yeah,
Mufasa. Like,
yeah, man. Yeah, and I like the
Yo, for
theme
me,
music when it
all I
came
heard was
on.
Darth Vader.
well, that too. Yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Mhm.
He's just an icon, man. It's just you
Yeah.
can't
Yeah. He's.
the fact that he was still there
Hmm.
and but yeah, him passing on the stage, I was like, really? And then the Mighty Good King, and somebody said, and I thought it was so funny. It
Yeah.
was like when Gladys Knight sang "Midnight Train to Zamunda," I was like, yo, come on,
Yeah.
bro, this
I'm
is
just. I
way
felt
over the top.
like you're doing too
Like you
much.
guys are
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
way too much.
I felt this, and I felt like when James Earl Jones' character when he had that funeral, I felt like he should have like fell out of the casket, just like died and like fell first out of the casket or something. Like I felt like it was almost like a joke, but they didn't
It
quite.
should have been over the. That should
Yeah,
have
they
been
should
over
have
the top.
finished the
That part
joke
should have
by
been
just
over the
him just
top.
like slumping over and like falling off the stage or something. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It just I felt like there were like jokes that they could have went further but they just didn't really quite go there. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, some people felt like they kind of like recycled jokes from the
yeah,
original, and And that it is. They rode off of that, and it was like it wasn't really like a new film, like you said. It was like a homage or some kind of like homage to the original, and it could have been so much more. It could have been so much more. It was good to see so many black faces on screen, and
definitely,
you know, just to put the project together, but it could have been so much more. At this time, like, you know, I mean, it was something with. Hey, we're talking about it, so it was a contribution, but at the same time, it's like it could have been so much more. Like, it could have did so much more with that story.
So let me ask you guys, how do you feel about no Samuel L. Jackson cameo? Because I swore, like, I mean, if you're gonna bring
think about that.
If you're gonna bring all these, if you're gonna bring all these people in here, and Sam's like,
I don't really think. I mean, what part? The part that he played.
Well, here's the thing. Okay,
They could have showed him on TV, like in the news or something.
Now, here's my thing. Okay, that was a small role for him in the original. And that was like when he was first. That was like one of his first roles coming up, or real. You know what I mean? That was before he was the Sam Jackson that we know today. But I feel like because he has gotten so big now that they could have used him in a way of like maybe he owns his own McDowell's. Like after robbing that one, he has his own franchise now or something. I mean, it doesn't have to be like a big role, but when they went to America, they could have showed, oh yeah, you remember back when I was robbing people, but now I got my own franchise. Now I'm, you know, making money. So I felt like that was kind of a missed opportunity, you know, in my personal opinion, you know. So
yeah, that is very, very interesting.
Because you have all these faces in here, and I'm like, you know, you got all these faces. You're like, you might as well throw Sam in there. You know what I mean? So
I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
the fact that they had the peaches, the
Oh
yes,
yes. I was
like, they're throwing everything at us.
They really got. They had the damn clothes on. I was like, the only thing is they were a little bit more plump, but I was like, what?
And I'm thinking, like, where did they dig them up from? Like, where did they find them? Like, did they just Because it was, and I didn't think they could have any more cameos until they came in. I was like, wow, like.
I forgot about that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Things were coming left and right in that movie. They were coming left and right with things. And that's why I said it was heavily saturated with people. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it just seems like to me, Eddie was doing, this is just a celebration of black culture. So that's just what came off to me. So he was putting any and everybody in that movie. That's why I don't really look at it as a sequel. It was just like that movie could have stood on its own, if not for the fact that it stemmed from the first one. I agree.
I wholeheartedly agree.
You know, because it was anything to me but a sequel. To me, the only thing that made it a sequel was the fact that he had a son.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Right.
That's what made it a sequel. Everything else was parallel. Like
the love story was just like rushed and just
it was kind of underdeveloped.
He did the same thing.
Yeah.
He did the same thing Hakeem did.
But it did not come close to him and Lisa's love story, though.
Right.
It didn't come close to it to me.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with all that. And so I put a couple notes down. So I noticed it was a random Rick Ross cameo in there. Did y'all?
Yeah.
And I was like,
And
I was like, is that Rick Ross? And I was just like, in my mind, I'm like,
it was definitely Rick Ross.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they were just like, it just seems so random to me for him to just pop up in the movie. Like, you know, it's like so jam packed. It's so jam packed, and then they got to have a Rick Ross cameo on top of that. I'm like, okay, like. But But so I will say that.
So was with Salt and Pepper. So was In Vogue.
Yeah. In Vogue. Wow.
Yeah, In Vogue. Yeah, definitely. So I will say that I did like Leslie.
That's actually a big deal.
Yeah. What? Oh, the In Vogue.
Yeah, because it's not like they've been doing stuff together publicly, like,
Right.
you know, as far as I know. So to see them on screen, like, together, like, they pulled that out the hat. But at the same time, it was like,
yeah, it does
on,
seem
man.
like they had to pull.
Well,
it seems like they had to pull a lot together behind the scenes to
they
get all
did
these
it
people
because
on
of the
screen.
song that they were singing. Because of the song that they
Yeah.
were singing, they sing with Salt and Pepper, though.
Salt and
Right.
Pepper, right.
Yeah.
That's
right.
the thing. The song that they sing, that they did in the movie, is the song that they do
Yeah.
with Salt and Pepper.
Right.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a big deal to see, because I seen Salt and Pepper. They tour and everything,
Yeah.
but in Vogue, like, wow,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
But I noticed
they pulled
that I think that Salt and Pepper is currently, aren't they beefing with Spinderella, and that's probably why she didn't show up. I heard there was some beef with her going on right now.
Yeah, there's something going on. I can't really
she's no longer a part of the group. There was
Yeah.
litigation.
Oh, okay.
There's litigation.
Yeah.
They can't even speak about her.
Oh,
So
wow.
they went. It was illegal. It's a legal situation. She's no longer a part of the group.
Oh,
That
wow.
sucks.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
Dang, that sucks, man.
But so a character that I did like, well, okay, so Wesley Snipes. Let's just touch on Wesley Snipes real quick. I thought he did a really good job. Like, Wesley Snipes is an action star. He starred in some comedies like White Man Can't Jump and like Money Train, like stuff like that. But for someone who's predominantly an action star,
Wesley's a solid actor.
He is. And when he came in, he was doing that crazy walk, and even the accent that he did was just so like over the top. But like he was, it's like I felt. I literally felt like he was really like having fun with the movie. He was really getting into it, and he was entertaining, and like I liked his character a lot.
He really was.
Yeah. So I definitely. And
shout out to Eddie for pulling him into the fold to do that film, because I mean they worked together on that and Dolomite, so
right.
That to me like that was a good call getting him.
Yeah, because Eddie hasn't. Not Eddie, but Wesley hasn't. Because the whole tax evasion thing or whatever. But like since then,
he's coming up. And
then when he came in Expendables 3,
he's
I
on
think,
the come up.
Yeah, so he's trying to get back in the fold, and I'm with that because But Leslie Jones, I like the Leslie Jones character. I thought she was entertaining. I mean, it was typical Leslie Jones.
She was.
But I like Leslie Jones.
Typical.
She's a very likable.
She's a fool.
Yeah, she is. She really is. Like she's a very likable person, character, comedian. So I really liked her character. I could tell that she was really, really into it. And then I liked how her and the mother at first, how she was like calling her like uppity. You know what I mean? And then like
throughout, bitch say what?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So I felt like there was like kind of like a character arc where like at first they weren't really getting along, and then once they got drunk together and they started like because it was like Leslie Jones' character was from America, and then she comes over to Munda, and then she meets the mother who was also from Queens. So they kind of bonded on that, and they started like reciting like rhymes and stuff, and then they started kind of like bonding, and I thought that was cool because it was like it started one way, and then they started getting along. So I like that. I like that about her character, and
But I got something to say about that, though. I have something to say about Lisa.
Okay.
Lisa is originally from Queens. Okay.
Okay.
I don't care. They should have made her to the point where she was now bougie. Like, I understand.
Yeah.
You queen, you princess or queen or whatever, or princess. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, you from Queens. So when Leslie Jones came to Zaronga, it was almost like Lisa was looking at her like what's she talking about? Like, you didn't know the things that she was talking about. You from Queens. You from America originally. You grew up there. You spent your whole life there until the time that you married this dude. How do you not know the things that she's talking about? She literally was looking at her like she was.
She was looking at her like she was.
Lisa came off.
Yeah, go ahead, Donald.
Lisa came off kind of bougie. I don't want to say too much like she was, but she she was kind of like not attached to it. I mean, her father had money.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't like.
You mean in the original?
You know what I'm saying?
In the original
she wasn't
one?
like.
You talking about the original?
Yeah, the original.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Her sister was more the ratchet, and which I found that odd. She wasn't involved. Like I guess they couldn't get her or whatever. But yeah, her sister was the one, who was more on that side of things, and so it's kind of like Lisa was really being Lisa the whole time. Like it's not really surprising.
I don't know, Don. I don't know, Cass. I don't know, Cass.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of look at it.
Yeah.
I look at it. I kind of look at it as like.
I think I'm on the fence on that one.
I could see it both ways. I could see both of you ways. I could see how, because there are people who really just like get into a situation where they get more like they get in a situation where they forget where they came from.
Yeah, wrapped up.
And it's been like 30 years, and I mean, and it's just they get so wrapped up in it that they forget, where they came from, and so I can see both ways because I know people like that. You know what I mean? But so
yeah,
I don't know. Like, yeah, that's I don't know. But I do like how she eventually came down and started being cool, and she started like bonding with Leslie's character.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was cool. And of course, like the fact that like the story was about they couldn't give the crown or the royalty over to the daughter, but then was like a tradition, and then they like broke that tradition, which of course was a great thing for the movie. I thought that was a really good idea to make the movie based off of that.
Yeah, nowadays.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially
about, Hakeem being the kind of king. Hakeem being the kind of king he wants to be, rather than what what tradition was. It's just him doing more of what he did in the first one. It was like he went on to change things, for the better. And I was trying to figure out how they were going to make it work out where they were cool, like him and Wesley were cool at the end. I just felt like everything was kind of rushed.
It was rushed. I agree.
It was.
Development of the story didn't have priority. They just zipped past everything and just jumped to it and just like, hey, here you go.
And then that's
what it felt like.
Wesley's character just automatically,
because there was too much going on.
Yeah, it was too much thrown in there that like you can't develop that much in like a 2-hour movie or hour and a half movie. It's just not possible. But like Wesley's character, I feel like how he was just like, oh well, we're gonna handle things diplomatically, or we're gonna, like he automatically was like this warlord, but then he was like, oh well, now I want things to be peaceful because like he got beat up by the daughter and the girls, the Dora Milaje from Black Panther,
right.
But like, yeah, I just felt like it was like rushed. Like it was just like, oh, 1 minute I feel this way, and then the next minute like I'm cool when I'm at the wedding and all this stuff. So, like, yeah, it was definitely
right,
definitely rushed. I think there was something else that
but also African culture. If we know African culture and like the mindset.
Yeah,
they wouldn't break down that fast. Like that would, that would be, they would hold on to that. That
right.
Like and talking about tradition, that ain't gonna change in a matter of hours. I don't care.
Right.
So like, yeah, that I mean I know it's a movie and it is what it is, but it's fiction. But at the same time, it was like, come on, like let's keep some kind of continuity. Like let's be a little more realistic as far as like how the story progressed, and that they just rushed that, I feel.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. And then we haven't even like touched on like they had Tracy Morgan in the movie, so like they brought in another like celebrity.
But the thing is, Prince Hakeem, like Hakeem was already in the first one breaking tradition. So why was it a big deal?
Yeah,
in this one
true.
where about the daughter, it's like you already started that
Right.
that path in the first one when
Right.
you went to America to find your bride. That
Right.
wasn't tradition,
What?
So you already
Well,
started
it was
that.
a
So why?
conflict
Because I was looking at Eddie like, I'm like, why is he making it a big deal or trying to stick to tradition now when he broke that? He broke tradition himself.
because
That is.
because it was a conflict, like him looking at it differently. Like, yeah, he fell in love. He looked at this as differently. Like, he wanted to honor the tradition, and plus his father by doing what they were doing, and also he, like his father said, they're gonna kill you, and you're gonna be assassinated and things like that, and so it was kind of like things he worried about, because he wore the crown then, like it was a little more weight to it, but at the end
So
of the day, he still did the same thing he always does, and he went against the grain.
so basically, like the pressure of having to do it because of like, you know, like fearing for his life and the conflict that he had with
Yeah. There
But
was no real character development. There was no real character development except for the son. The son was kind of like lost and really didn't have nothing going on, and then he gave him purpose, like,
yeah,
pretty much.
yeah. But like
So
basically like what you just said as far as like in the original one how Eddie was the one to like break the tradition, like that's true, and then also to like piggyback off that, it's like he knew that he had three daughters, and so if he was the one to break the tradition and he didn't know he had a son until like 30 years later or however long it was later, like he should have been already like expecting in his mind to hand the throne over to one of his daughters because he knew he didn't have a son, and he was like, okay, I'm going to do this for one of my daughters, like getting her ready for the throne.
he didn't have no. Sure.
You know what I mean? He didn't know he had a son until like 30 years later. But then it's like when he found out, he's like, oh, automatically, I'm just gonna give like all this time because he didn't have a son, he should have known that he was gonna give it over to one of his daughters. So that's also like I feel like another reason why he should have like been ready to do that. So
he was grooming them to rule, but at the same time, he was grooming her, the oldest, to be queen to whoever she married, who would be king.
Okay. So I got it.
So
yeah.
That would have been because he didn't have any sons. That's the way it would have went.
They were in a range
it
of
would have been
marriage.
like
She was arranged. And she was to marry Wesley's son.
Right.
Yeah.
Rotimi.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Right. Dre from Power. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Tiana Taylor. Man, there was so many people in this film. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like.
But I love her. I love Tiana Taylor. I love her.
Me too.
It's definitely a sequel.
Shout out to Tiana Taylor.
That it's definitely a sequel that didn't have to be made, but it was, of course. And then it kind of felt like it was an Amazon Prime movie, so it wasn't a theatrical release. It was a streaming release, but like it kind of felt that way, as in like we got all these people back, and then it actually felt like a lot smaller movie because most of it took place in Africa and inside of like the home. So it wasn't like you're out in the streets, and like the original one took place more so.
Yo, it was in Queens. It was in Queens for like 5-10 minutes.
I know. Oh, but let's talk about the barbershop scene. Of course, that was a class. That's always like bringing the immortal barbershop. The people, because of course they should have been dead by now 30 years ago. I mean, 30 years later.
They should have been like a buck fit. Yeah.
It should have been on their deathbed.
How they going to outlive the king?
Right. Like,
how they going to outlive the king? Like, the king, come on, man.
Like, these dudes is immortal. Like, come on, man.
Right.
Still talking trash in the barbershop.
But I mean, that's
not to mention they could have been their own thing, honestly.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that they should have just done a spinoff movie with the barbershop. Like, you know, like
they could be their own thing. Like, really.
Definitely.
Charlemagne the God brought that up to Arsenio Hall in the interview, and Arsenio Hall, it was like he was taken back by it. He was like, huh. Didn't think about that. Like, you might want to talk to Eddie about that, though. Eddie's the one you should talk to. But it definitely should be I think it should be its own entity.
I agree. Like, or even if they do like a series, like they could do like a, I don't know, Amazon Prime series or something like that. I think that'd be funny.
Yeah.
You know, you can do all types of things with streaming now. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean,
I thought something they did that was very, very up to date. Something they did was point out the fact that Reverend was a womanizer and he was like inappropriate, and I thought that was cool because with like like somebody like that, a character like that, it's like they put him in it because it was funny back then,
right?
But now it's like they're being responsible, like they're saying, oh, he's basically their apology for that character. Like, he is a womanizer. He's wildly inappropriate towards women. And the fact that they pointed that out was like really goes with now, like with the cancel culture and everything. Like that's definitely something like, it was interesting to see. Because that's something people would have looked at and be like,
oh yeah.
They'd have been like, that character. And that would have been like a whole thing. Like, that would have been the main thing people hung up on, like, as far as the cancel culture. Like, that would have been something people would have hung on. And they probably would have been like, don't support this movie.
There's a lot of...
Even with the bathers.
Yeah.
Even with the bathers. Like, how they had Leslie Jones with the male, like...
Yeah.
They made sure that they made it to now, like now.
And I must say, that was appreciated.
Yeah.
I must say that was appreciated. Because in the first one, they didn't show no men for the women. It was all the beautiful women for the men. So it's like, okay, that was appreciated, Eddie. Thank you.
It was definitely progress. I mean, like, there's a lot of movies. There's so many movies that just couldn't be made today, and there's so much comedy and stuff that you go back and you watch it, and it's like you couldn't come out with that today. You know what I mean? People they wouldn't go for it. And I mean, as far as like cancel culture, people are already going back.
Can we talk about that?
I mean, we could briefly talk about it. I mean, we could actually, the next episode we could talk about it, but like if you want, we could touch on it now. But like, people are going back in the vault, or not even in the vault, but they're going back and they're trying to cancel people left and right. You know, especially on Twitter. Twitter is just cancel culture. Just I don't know.
Some stuff is just like, so what? Like why people are getting up in arms when certain characters are canceled? Like, so what? Like, you don't really care. You don't really care. Like, who cares if Pepe Le Pew is canceled? Pepe Le Pew hasn't really been a character on anything lately, in the latest stuff anyway. So who cares? Like, like, you really don't care. Like if you have video, if you have the stuff already on tape or DVD or Blu-ray, like, just hold on to it. Like, but to get up in arms about it, like, you don't really care. You only care because it's something you feel like you want to get bent out of shape about. Like, if you really think about it, like, when is the last time, like, I know they didn't go through with it, but like, when is the last time you bought a Mr. Potato Head off the shelf? Like, nope, they're not, like my best friend said, they're not flying off the shelf. Like, nobody cares. Like, they only care until they only cared when it came up to be canceled. Like, like, get out of here, man.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about that. We could talk about that on another episode, but
But see, I do have something to say about that.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say we're gonna talk about that next week.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. We could do that. That's a really good topic to talk about next week. But there are movies that definitely there's so much comedy that, like, I mean, stuff like, I mean, because I've watched a lot of like YouTubers that do like they're into like movie reviews or just talking about like what's going on, and there's just a lot of things that if you did it today, it would not work. And it's like if you want to come out with a sequel, you want to update something, you're gonna have to go back and just change a lot of stuff and rework a lot of stuff because the mob will get you. They're gonna come after you. They're gonna come for you. The mob is real.
And they did that.
Yeah. So as far as coming to America too, yeah. So let me ask you, how do you guys feel about a PG-13 rating? Do you think that it was? I personally thought that okay, it was cool. Like I didn't really notice any. I thought that them giving it a PG-13 rating would take away from the movie because they would be holding back. But honestly, I didn't really think about it. You know what I mean? But how do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, me either. I didn't even notice it.
Yeah,
I didn't notice it. I mean, it's not gonna be as like raunchy or crass as the original. Like It's just not gonna do that. And like Eddie and Arsenio have grown, and they wanted something that everybody can enjoy. I think so.
Yeah.
I think that they were very mindful of that.
Yeah.
When creating the film. So,
how do you feel about that, Tosh? How do you feel about the PG-13 rating? I keep calling her Tosh.
Yeah, T-Rex.
Keep doing it like.
I agree. I think they just wanted to be all inclusive, so they didn't want to make it anything where it would limit the audience.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Do you think it like hurt?
Am I cutting out?
Just a little bit, but we can.
You was a little bit.
Do you think it hurt? Do you think it affected the movie in a negative way in any way? The PG-13 rating.
See, I don't know what's going on with that.
Are we cutting out?
But yeah, I just think he wanted to be all inclusive and didn't want to limit his audience.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I think
definitely.
They just they didn't want to limit the film by making it R-rated or anything like that. I think they wanted to make sure that the whole family can watch it, especially now. I mean, people at home with quarantine and stuff like that, and they're gonna want to watch. So.
Good point.
I actually didn't give it any thought till you said something about it. Actually,
I mean, usually I think about like movies that are R, and I'm like, I feel like I feel like they do give like sequels of PG-13 to try to play it safe, and I feel like, I mean, I'm not necessarily going to say that it's going to be it's going to suffer because of it. I have to watch it first, but a lot of times I feel like they're just trying to like play it safe, and they're trying to appeal to more people when they really could have told the story they wanted to tell. But in this case, like you said, I didn't notice it either, so I wasn't. Yeah, I didn't affect it. I don't think it affected the film, So but like so basically the story was about his son.
Right.
In a nutshell, it was about it was like Eddie kind of. It was like Eddie's character's story of like him kind of pulling back a little bit and letting other people shine, letting other actors come in, it was a story about his son. So that's pretty much what it was, And I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that you brought all these people in, all these black actors, gave them a chance to come back and shine, and gave them some work on screen. Gave Wesley, a comeback. So so definitely. So that's always a good thing, So, but so we have 10 minutes.
Second comeback. Comeback.
So what was the first one?
It's the Dolomite. My name.
Okay. I didn't get a chance to see that, but I know he was in that. Yeah, I need to see that.
Yeah, you gotta check that out.
Yeah,
check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you could watch it with the kids, but you can watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch it upstairs.
Yeah.
As far as like as far as our connection,
you said we had 10 minutes.
Yeah, we got 10 minutes left, so I guess we can continue talking or whatever until the time runs out. But as far as the connection, I think it's might be because my wife is probably streaming downstairs, and then my boys might be streaming. So in the future, I'll tell them that we're recording at this time and tell them to like not to stream while I'm doing this because that could be affecting the connection. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, they're gonna go crazy.
I know Emily. Well, the boy. Well, I don't know. They'll be all right. They'll find something.
They're gonna be pacing outside your door.
Yeah, they'll be all right. It's only an hour or so they'll be good. But so for the second for our next episode, I think cancel culture.
Like a lifetime. That's a lifetime.
Oh yeah, an hour is a lifetime for them, especially when the Wi-Fi gets cut off. People don't know what to do with themselves, kids and adults. Yeah. So for our next
it's like
episode,
a lifeline. It's like you cut off life support.
Right. Cut off their breathing.
Cut off the AC and the heat.
So yeah, I think cancel culture would be a really good topic. It seems to be growing. Like I follow a lot of stuff. Like I don't really like get on Twitter that much, but I follow a lot of YouTubers and they talk about a lot of things like the Pepe Le Pew stuff. I saw that as soon as it came out, and like there was actually a guy who had wrote a script for a Pepe Le Pew movie, but he got canceled, and the script actually got out, but the script wasn't bad. The script was actually about like it wasn't about like the Pepe Le Pew that we saw where he was like chase, you know what I mean? It was more updated to where it was. Hey, T, are you familiar with the Pepe Le Pew cancel? Did you hear about that?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. I'm just making.
Let's be clear.
Okay.
Let's be clear.
I'm just
he
making
was
sure.
A rapist. That damn skunk was a rapist. Okay.
He was.
Let's be clear.
He was pushing up on that cat. Yeah, he was pushing up on that cat. I mean, there's a lot of Looney Tunes stuff that was just really inappropriate back then. But here's my thing, like, I feel like you don't have to. I
was just saying that. I was just having that conversation. I was like, when you watch things nowadays, when you watch the things from back then now, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even. You know, kids are innocent. You don't. They're pure. You don't recognize all of that when you're a child. But now, when you look back at all of those things, it's the racism, it's the inappropriate, the sexual connotations. Right. I mean, it's so many different things.
Right.
Like even with my daughter, when my daughter was a child, like when she was a little kid, and she was watching even the Disney. All the new things that were coming out at the time that she was a kid. I'm watching this stuff like, oh snap! But you know, that's going over her head. But I'm like, man, the things you pick up on as an adult is crazy.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like he didn't necessarily need to be canceled. They could have just made him, rebooted him and make him like a different. Because he's a cartoon character, like he's not a real person. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But yes, he was definitely extra, and you go back and watch it, and you're like, okay, yeah, he was, watch it from a different lens now,
They should have called for a revision.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just like change what he does. Like,
to be continued.
You can do that with cartoon characters because they're not human beings, But I don't know. It's
poor thing. She was always running for her dear life, man.
This is good, guys.
I know.
Poor thing.
Yeah, she was. I know. He was like kissing it. He'd be like,
and you can find Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes is on HBO Max.
Yeah, they got a new one. Oh, they got the old ones too?
I don't know.
I know they did like a reboot or something. But
it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah, I have like a Looney Tunes.
I used to love the Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Oh, do you? Oh.
Yeah, I got like a collection on Blu-ray a couple years ago. Yeah. Man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
you don't have the old good. You don't have the old.
Well, I mean, it's
like talking to you too.
No, it's a collection, like a volume collection. Like
no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, and then of Dr. Seuss, y'all heard about Dr. Seuss, of course, the books or the couple.
Hey,
couple of his
to
books.
be continued.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. We'll do that. Okay. All right. Well, we got 5 minutes left. I mean, we can.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Yeah. I think
every episode got to stick to the episode.
Continued.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. So I think this episode came out good. I think we're gonna eventually. I'm gonna try to work on the connection issue because that's annoying. But yeah, I think everything came out pretty good. It's our first episode. Thank everyone for joining us, or for tuning in. Yeah. Definitely. I hope we definitely have plans to grow. That's definitely the plan.
Yeah.
And we definitely want to have guests on the show. We're definitely going to work toward that. You know what I mean? And I mean, do you guys have anything else to share before we sign out?
No, I just enjoy it. I'm enjoying it already.
That's good. Yeah.
No, man. I just want to see this girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for real, like this could go. If it wasn't in any kind of control, we could definitely go on and on. Like
we could go on all night, but
I like it. I'm liking the space.
Yeah,
I'm liking it.
And I think an hour is good for us right now. I think that's perfect.
Absolutely,
yeah.
And hopefully,
you say it again. You broke up a little bit.
What were you saying?
T, you broke up a little bit.
I was saying to take it and for it to evolve to like monetary.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
definitely
compensation, making it that big.
Yeah.
For sure.
And real quick, while I'm thinking about it, T, you want to plug your the My Sentiments Instagram, because we'll be putting this up on
Friday.
Yeah, I'll be putting this up on Facebook and YouTube, and I think this, if you want to, you can plug that to tell people to tune into that. This would be a good way to plug your My Sentiments page every Friday.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So everybody, Friday Night Lives on My Sentiments on IG, and it's my.sentiments_. So anybody go follow me on that, and every Friday night 7 we do lives. And we speak about different topics as well.
Definitely. And you said IG now you can do how many people? You said more than 2?
I think you can do up to 4, I believe. I know they just... you can.
That's dope.
I'm looking forward to that. So I'm not sure when
IG.
I know they're all late. I don't know when I'm going to be posting this. I'm going to try to post it tomorrow. Well, we'll see when I'm going to, because I got to do some little bit of editing and stuff. But as we speak, we're recording on a Thursday, and then tomorrow I'll be on IG with you live, and then definitely. So, all right, everyone. Like I said, thank you.
Are we gonna do an IG page for us?
Nice.
We could do that if you want to. I can start one. I'll start one. I'll open one up. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we should.
Okay, definitely. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to our first episode. More to come for sure. More topics. Always stuff to talk about. Our next episode is definitely going to be cancel culture for sure. And so we will see you guys next week. And we're out.